Thanks, everybody, for coming to the celebration of life for Franco. It's nice to see you all here and be here with you all, because it seems like a long time since we've all gotten together in person. I'm sure he's here with us, watching all the festivities, and I want this to be a happy occasion. And thank you all for all your support over the past year, energetically or whatever. It's been much easier to move through this process with this community. Has made a big difference for me, and I'm sure for Mark and Melinda as well, as it was a big event for us all. Okay, so I'm just going to read because it's easier for me. I feel it's been a big adjustment for most of us losing the physical Franco, who brilliantly and lovingly played the beautiful roles of partner, father, mentor, friend, and teacher. And being the man he was, he would want us to be celebrating all of our lives, especially now because we all have big lives to live and a greatness within us for creating a new world, something Franco could see even when it was hard for us to see it in ourselves. I feel the last thing Franco would want us all to be is sad for his physical departure. He would want us to recognize that he made a choice to leave so he could assist in a bigger, more expanded way. He's assured me in many ways that he never really left, and he's still here doing what he loved the most, helping people just in a different way. I get emails and messages from people all over the world who have shared how they have been helped or gained clarity in their lives from Franco's teachings, and how some of them still feel his presence and guidance with them. Franco has a big, beautiful, loving soul, so I'm sure he's spreading it out to all who call on him. I personally have received many messages from Franco, some through other people, some who didn't even know him, and some through journaling, and I feel a lot of the messages I received would apply to us all. Here are a few. Embrace the love of who you are and find your joy. Follow your passion and trust in your heart-centered guidance. It's your time to fly and create your own path. You are an infinite being, so the possibilities are endless. This is an experience I agreed to have to learn from. I don't like that one. You are fully and completely supported. There is no time. Death is an illusion. You are powerful. Put your hand on your heart and know I am here with you. Hold me in love, not in sadness. This is a time to recognize your own pure love and operate from that frequency. I'm sure most of us here will have our own gems of wisdom we have received from Franco, which has left an inspirational imprint and reminder of our true nature. Franco, over his lifetime, has shared an abundance of wonderful information in his own beautiful Franco way. He endeared many an audience with his amusing Francoisms and his clear excitement and passion for what he was sharing. And of course, we will never forget his ability to make time stop so he could talk for hours. And, and his love for the purple marker on his smartboard, which he had so much fun with. So if anybody of you ever watched Advancing Consciousness series, they really loved that marker. And even though Franco touched the lives of many, there was part of him that was concerned he wasn't sharing enough and reaching enough people. However, Franco's soul knew better, and the light and love he shone on all of our lives lives on in all of us and continuously ripples out, touching others. Now is the time to take Franco's beautiful teachings and put them into practice and live as we were meant to live, in true love and freedom. Thank you, my sweetheart, for all you have brought to this world, and you continue to bring. You are loved beyond measure. So I'm sure most of you share those sentiments, and truly feel blessed that he was in all of our lives. And we have to continue on and practice what he so diligently tried to share all the time with us. So it's our turn to take it and move forward with it in our own lives. So thanks. And I think Melinda now will have a few words to say, and maybe Marky too. Yeah.
Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for coming out and being here with us and sharing this experience with us. It's been a very interesting year. It's been, hard, but, eye-opening. And, one of the key messages that I think like Kim, Mark, and I kept getting, especially right after he passed, is that, you're all ready. Because, like, I know for me personally, my dad was my safety blanket, right? And I think he was very similar to all of you in that way, you know, in various degrees. But he was definitely my safety blanket, the one who always had the answer, the one that I could always go to no matter what. And so, you know, it's like, now what? You know, my blanket's gone, like my comfort's gone, right? And it's just, you know, the message we kept getting soon after, like literally right after he passes, you're ready. You're ready. Just go with it, right? Stay open and go with it, and you're ready, and everything will happen. And so, you know, the only thing I want to say to that is, like, obviously you're here. This is the schoolhouse. My dad was very much about part of this planning of the schoolhouse. We had been talking about it for over a decade. It was before I even had my kids, that I knew I was going to have a school. And not just one. It'll end up being more, right? Because it's really, we're setting the stage to change education. And so my dad was very much a part of that plan, to the point where even last year, in the summer, I was like, I don't know, I'm not finding a place, I'm not doing this and that. And he just, like, all of a sudden looked at me, you know, he looks at me, he's like somewhere else, and he's seeing stuff, you know, show up in front of him, and he's just like, no, it's gonna open September 2022. Like, he was so dead straight about it. And don't worry, the place is coming, and it's gonna shock you, but it's coming, right? Like, I'm like, okay. So keep working on it, plan it, and do this and that. And he gave me all these, like, things that I had to do. And that was the last time we spoke about the school, right? And that was in July. Before he passed. But, like, he knew I was working on it. I would give him updates on what I was doing, but it's like, you know, we didn't have a location yet. And even last year, up until the end of last year, I still didn't have a location. In fact, we got this location 3 weeks before school opened. So talk about miracles, you know, like, we've literally converted an old log cabin into a schoolhouse. And, you know, it feeds and teaches, like, it feeds over like 80 people a day on average, believe it or not, in that one kitchen there. And, you know, there are 68 students here, you know, who are here every day learning and growing and loving and all of that. And amazing teachers and all of that stuff. But, like, all that stuff was working on it. I just kept working on it because I knew it was going to open September 2022, completely going on, like, trust at this point, right? Because, like, well, we don't have a building. I kind of need that to make it open, right? But you just go, right? Okay, I trust. And it really did. And literally 3 weeks before, here's this place. And so this is our temporary location, but he set all of this up. And even, like, the deeper story behind it, which I won't get into because it's a long one, but, like, you know, he's been a part of this 100%. Like, he knew, like, the timeline he had set was exact. And, like, we feel him. I feel him so much here. And at the beginning, Kim was here every day helping me too. And it's like, it's just a comforting place to be because of how much he's here, right? Like, he's very much here. Like, you know, just to give you, I want to tell you one key story. So our teacher's also very conscious and everything. And one of the teachers more recently, she's started channeling things, and she started channeling my dad. She started hearing him on his birthday, September 22nd of this year. And she knew it was him. She's never met him, but she knew it was him because he was very specific. And the stuff he told her was so specific and accurate. Right? Like, it was just crazy. Like, only if you knew him would someone be able to know this, right? And so one of the things that he told her was, so, you know, so all school year up until that point, they kept finding dimes everywhere. No other coin, dimes. They'd be outside playing race. Oh, there's a dime. They go here. Oh, there's a dime. So he told her, he said, those dimes are me. He goes, you have to tell every child, every teacher, every person that comes in here that when you find a dime, you go give it to Miss Melinda, right? So I have kids popping into my office, Miss Melinda, I found a dime. Miss Melinda, I found a dime. And then on the 1 year of his passing, Sienna, my little girl there, say hi, Sienna. She found 5 dimes alone on that one day by herself, right? And so I've got piles of dimes collecting in my office for how many times. And it's literally like they find these dimes at the time I need it the most. because this is no easy feat, let me tell you. So there are times when I just want to cry, and then a dime is found, right? And it's like, okay, we're good. So to say, like, we feel him. The other thing Sienna finds are hearts. So like, this is one example. It's a heart-shaped rock. So they're in the forest every day, these kids. Every day. She found a tree stump in the shape of a heart. She's found multiple things in the shape of a heart, including a lot of rocks. So we collect all these things, but it's him basically telling us and reminding me that, yeah, I'm here, you know, just not in that physical sense that you were so used to, that I love so much, because he's so darn cute, right? Like, come on. Like, it's perfect timing. Like, he's so cute. So like, I just love him so much, and like, I miss his hugs more than and there's times I'm trying to hold it in now. There's times I cry, right? Because I miss him so much. But I get those reminders. So just stop. And then even one of the other things he told her was that, so we have something, it's a Waldorf tradition that we've decided to carry through. It's called the Lantern Walk. And so we're doing it on, Remembrance Day now, November 11th. But the Lantern Walk is a very reverent, very peaceful, very quiet, very like special. It's about bringing the light. You know, you're carrying the light into the winter, into the dark, right? Because the winter is very dark and everything. And so it's a beautiful tradition that they have. And so when one of the teachers first told me about it, I was like, we have to do that. I don't know why, but we need to do this lantern walk. And then he ended up telling this teacher, who happens to be Sienna's teacher too, of all teachers, Sienna's teacher is channeling him, that the lantern walk is very important. Because that's literally like, you know, he is going to definitely be there, and he wants us to do that because it's going to shift the energy of everywhere. So it's pretty amazing, the stuff that he's done and shown, but I could just tell you right now that this wouldn't have been possible without him. And I give him full credit for it. I don't take any credit. It's all him working his magic, doing his Franco thing, you know, from, you know, his new his new place. But he is very much here. So, you know, even if, and today while you're here, it's such a beautiful sunny day, you know, walk the grounds, just walk around, you know, feel him, because he is very much around. And I know he's definitely here today too, because so many people he loves are in this place all at one time. So thank you all, and thank you for all your support. Everyone's been so kind and so supportive, you know, especially to Kim and stuff, but even to Mark and I, and we appreciate it. So we appreciate each and every one of you. And remember that first message, that it's okay, we're all ready, right? We don't need our safety blanket anymore. We don't need any of that. We don't need that support. We've got it. We've got this. That's why he chose was the time, because we've got this, each and every one of us. Okay, thank you.
It's hard to say anything different than what they said, because they both encapsulated it all so perfectly. But first off, of course, thank you all for being here. I know that my dad was special and is special to each and every one of you. That's why you're here. And even those that aren't here right now, that are going to be watching the video or that couldn't be here today, his impact was more than the average person by far. Whether he really impacted you through individual sessions or something that he did, or one of the calls, if you called in, you know, hoping for 10 minutes of his time and he gave you 8 hours instead, or if you went to some event where he spoke at, or you saw some video that people had put together of him. The beauty of my dad, beyond what he's doing energetically beyond the physical form, is that he literally still is everywhere. Just this week, for example, I met with Carl, and he handed off to me some footage that's now being edited. So there's so much content to go along with the plethora that already exists. He was very active with a lot of things. I know he wished when he was here that he could be doing a million things more. He consistently wanted to do things, and I think that was one of the most frustrating things about his health, was that it didn't allow him to do as much as necessarily he wanted to do. But that aside, and one of the things I remember even talking to him about in that last chapter was still telling him how much he had done and helping him to give himself some credit for that, rather than always seeing like, because really he carried the weight of the world on his shoulder, in the sense of like, he knew what was possible and he wanted to help be one of the, sorry, I didn't think I'd be the one to cry, but no, I know. So he wanted to be one of the pinnacles to creating it, and in his mind level, he may not have thought that he did, And, I remember at his 60th birthday party, he said he signed a new 60-year contract to be here. He fell a little short of that. But regardless, it comes down to what they said. He left at this point not because he actually fell short or not because he didn't have the impact he wanted to. It was because it's the greatest, as they both said, the greatest vote of confidence in all of us that are not only here, but as a planet and universally, that we have what we need to be able to do. One second, sorry. To be able to do what he always envisioned. Things like this school, for example, are one manifestation of something that he foresaw himself physically being a part of, but instead he's doing it without all the pain and discomfort that he was dealing with physically. And he could do it more effortlessly as a result of that. So I think his work is continuing. His, gotta breathe more. His 60-year contract is still going on through all of us in so many ways, and through the stuff that still continues to live on. And like they both said, more than anything, just remember that he believes in your ability. And as much as you may think, or your auto-programmed mind may say, I'm hitting difficult time A, B, or C right now, what would I do when that happened? Go to Franco. Go to Franco. What does Franco have to say? I need Franco. I need Franco. Instead, it's now, I need me. Because within me is everything that he would be offering anyways. We all have so many seeds planted within us, so many plants already flourishing within us, that this is time for us to really step into our power, to take full responsibility for our lives, to take full responsibility for what we want to create, for what we want to be a part of, and know that that quick fix or the security blanket or the Band-Aid that he used to apply is not there because he knows you could do it within you. And that goes for everybody here, no matter how big or how little of an impact or how long you knew him for, or how little, it didn't make a difference, because he was the type of person, as everyone knows, even if you spend 5 minutes with him, he stood out. And he's someone that you wanted to try and capture as much from, learn as much about. And that even goes for the people that, not necessarily the people that are here today, but the people that he ruffled their feathers, as he would say, because he was unapologetically himself. He'll say anything. He wasn't going to water down his message to appease to a certain audience or anything like that. And that's what made him really stand out in this world, and the world needs more of that. So just remember that whenever you find your mind making you think that you are not enough, you are not capable, and you need to, where you previously would have run to Franco, number one, there is still plenty of Franco around, but the most important Franco's in you and in all of us. So there is still a very strong community that extends beyond this room, that even extends into places nowhere near this geographic location. So many people have been impacted by his work, have similar intentions, similar motivations, they see the same problems with the world. So there is so much of a community. Don't ever let yourself feel isolated. And remember that he's still within you and so many others. And the 60-year contract still got 55 years left. So we got a lot of work to do. And I know we all plan on being here for most, if not all of that, and even beyond, if we really can create what we're looking for. So thank you all. Love you all.
What's really interesting about my connection to Franco is that nobody knows me. And I have never met him live. But friends of Franco or his community found me as soon as I got back to Canada. That was almost 2 years ago. And Daniela and Jamal, especially Jamal, but first Daniela introduced me to Franco, and then Jamal started sending me his meditations. And before I actually did the recording, through the recording, I connected with him through these meditations. I send them to my sister as well. And he started to talk to me. And I know that people who resonated with him are closely resonating with me as well, which is beautiful. So I'm not here because of me. I'm just here to tell you that we're gathering. all of these soul groups are finding each other, and that is really giving such joy to my existence, that we're coming together and creating spaces where we can actually live in a life-affirming manner. And interestingly, I have started working in a school like this last year. So this is my second year working in an alternative school where I set out to change the curriculum to actually move away from the system, but in a loving way, not in a kind of like a rough, revolutionary way. And it is so beautiful. This is why I wanted to share this with you, that Franco is here without even like having that physical kind of meeting present. And I feel him, like, as we were driving here today, I just really felt that he was with us. He was with me as well, just like he's with you too. So that's just a very interesting angle. Thank you. Oh, I never told you. Yeah, which is unimportant. My name is Esther. My name is Esther. So yes, let's create that community and grow like little spaces of light. That is what I see happening for us and for our children.
Just a quick story. First time I met Franco, I heard him on Antonia's radio station podcast. And at the time, I just had a blessing. I lost everything in my life. So it was the biggest blessing I could ever had, because I had a huge shift in consciousness. And Franco was talking about everything that Franco talks about. I'm sitting in the coffee shop thinking, oh my God, yeah, absolutely. So I connected to Antonia, and she said, well, I'll introduce you to him if you want. I said, I'd love to. Cutting a long story short, I went down to his penthouse in Toronto. And at the time, I was like near enough penniless. So Franco said, well, just come down for an hour. And as Kimberly said, I was there for 5 hours. And he'd done this energy thing and life regression and all this type of thing. And just as I was leaving, he gave me a big hug and he shook my hand. And he said, I know you need this. He put $100 bill in my hand. I wanted to share this to everyone who loves Franco. And he said, one day we'll share the stage together. And then a couple of years later, we were Dr. Emoto. I got to sing there. But the man is a beautiful, beautiful soul. And of course, he's much missed. And we love him. And I love you. Thank you.
Okay, Kimberly and Franco. I didn't call them ever Kimberly and Franco. I called them Kimberlichka and Frankiček. So this was their name. And it's funny. My name is Pavla, sorry. And every time they came to our place, I am in the nature. And I say, Franco, you have to tell Frankiček, you have to take the shoes off. And Kimberly, he will never do that. And I said, he has to take the shoes off. He has to ground it. No, and then he started taking the shoes off. And Kimberlichka, what's going on here? He's listening to you. So anyways, so we were very connected on different level with Frankiček. And he walked barefoot, which was good. And we even did some hikes, which we never thought he will do. And he helped us. And it's funny that before we came here, before I get the message, this is happening, I lose lots of stuff. My mind is as well busy. And then I saw his messages. Like I have a whole thing, I think, on the message thing. And I said, this is interesting. And then Kimberlichka sent message, we're getting together. So yes, he's with us, he will be. And we are all infinite beings. We are connected. And we're creating, all of us, those beautiful communities. We are one community living in a sanctuary. And we are on the plan, connecting the whole planet together. Thank you.
Yeah, Franco, he was a great teacher, and he taught me a lot of things. He helped me see all the inversions, and I think this last couple of years, it's been really clear how things have been inverted. So that was one of the messages that he always talked about, and what he's encouraging me to do, and I think each one of us in our own way, is to shine our light, because each one of us now has a responsibility to to shine your given light so that you can make a difference in this great awakening that we're all going through. So, and it does feel sometimes like I'm not doing enough. And I think each one of you probably have had moments where you've thought the same thing, okay, we're not doing enough. But I think there's going to be a time where we're going to need to be courageous and shine our light and make a difference in the world. And again, my name's Mike, so thank you, Franco. Thank you.